in regards to yesterday's segment and announcement on Review Tech USA. First of all, overall, people liked the fact that I got caught up with Review Tech USA and all of his antics. People are having a good laugh at it. Especially because I was watching the Kino Casino guys react to him, and it was like, you know, it was funny because people are like, it's the ultimate react loop. So you made content, Rich reacted to your content, Kino Casino reacted to Rich's content, you reacted to Kino Casino's content, but it all started with your content. When you think about it, I want you to think about how crazy that is. Just simply because I'm a creator and I make content, there are people who react to it, and it just creates a giant circle ecosystem of content because I'm a creator. If I were to turn off my camera today and say I'm done and never come back, there would be an entire group of creators who would be like, fuck, what are we doing now? Phil's gone, right? And I'm not saying about Kino Casino, they react to a ton of shit. I'm just saying in general, you see how there's like these circular ecosystems that grow as opposed to, you know, people who just sit in there making their own content. Like, that would happen. There'd be entire YouTube channels. I'd be like, oh, fuck, what do we do if Phil is gone and doesn't make content anymore? It's just wild to think that, right? Anyway. So, yesterday I did this big segment about Review Tech, right? And the general consensus is, great segment, but we're not so sure about how you ended it. What do you mean? Well, the end of the segment was basically, for me, I wanted to have Review Tech on my podcast for a couple of reasons. Okay? Reason number one, hold on, because I have to do a freaking conversion here. So silly. Are you serious? This is ridiculous. Hold on. Gotta do something here. This is Norwegian. Okay. I received a Norwegian super chat from Nulla Viking. And I can't say this because what he said is something that I can't say on YouTube. But then he says, I'm doing an edgy super chat. Fun to see you in the sector. Glad to see you're more fun and relaxed than you used to be. Thank you, Nulla Viking. I appreciate that. That's actually the biggest super chat of the day. It's the equivalent of $11.24. So Mola Viking has unseated Dark Ethan with that super chat, and that gets us up to $43 in contributions today so far. Well, nearly a third of the way there to the goal. Thank you so much. Okay, getting back on track here. So yesterday, after the reacting to Review Tech segment, I basically said I'm talking with the man about having him appear on the show, and we haven't hammered in the date yet. And honestly, that's mostly because of me, because I don't know my exact work schedules because they fluctuate, right? When I told you guys that I'm going to probably have Review Tech on the show, and there's a couple of reasons why I want him on, the reaction was very mixed, to say the least, okay? We had people coming, leaving comments. People were tweeting me. People were DMing me. People were emailing me. I'm not kidding. And they were like, you should not have this man on your show, okay? Now, allow me to explain my rationale of why I'm considering having Review Tech on this podcast as an interview. Okay, number one, we have tremendous history, correct? I mean, this guy has essentially crapped on me for 10 years on YouTube, arguably made hundreds of thousands of dollars on my back. Again, if I wasn't a content creator and I wasn't making stuff, he would have nothing to make fun of. But because I am, he does. And a day when he made fun of me is a day he would get views and make money from his audience. And it's funny because you would say, well, if that's the case, isn't it just because, you're easy to make fun of or whatever? Yes and no. All right. I feel like I'm an easy target, or I was an easy target. Not anymore because now I clap back. But I feel like I was an easy target at one point. And because, when everyone's ganging up on me, this is how you don't play, spawning this big negative movement against me. If no one ever has my back and no one's ever going to speak up for me in any rational way, I'm just talking about myself and no one really gives a shit, right? Really, when someone gets your back, things change, correct? So, he's crapped on me for 10 years. He's made hundreds of thousands of dollars on my name. He even fucking sold merch with my likeness on it without permission. I want you to think about how crazy that is, right? So, for me to have him on my show and to finally have this conversation with him about what the fuck is he up with him? Why did he latch onto me in this pretty unhinged way, why does he keep talking about me? To this day, he's still doing it. I mean, I literally just yesterday was reacting to him reacting to me, the casino reacting to him. Like, why is he still doing it? Right? How does he not understand that if he would just do something else, something different, something creative, it would be better for him? His same shtick of let's crap on Phil today doesn't work anymore. It works for a very small percentile of his audience, and it works if he wants to court my detractors, right? So really, that's all he wants. All he wants is the detractors' attention. He'll get it, but that's all he's ever going to get. He's never going to grow. He's never going to have content that's going to have longevity. It's just going to be, I need money today. I got to turn on my stream, rag on Phil for a couple hours while popping edibles, and then go back off stream, and that's it. That'll be his life forever, right? He really needs to change things. You know, it's just stupid. So number one, just the fact that we have this history, right? But it's always been one-sided. It's always been him crapping on me. But now, the opportunity to have him on my show, in my realm of existence, in my space, and to have a real conversation with him about what is going on with this guy and what goes through his mind, I think it could be fascinating. Okay, really. Just honestly, I think it would be fascinating. Now, outside of that, there's the whole drama aspect. Let's be honest here, right? Like the drama stuff. And if ever there's going to be drama, right? Definitely me and him, mano a mano, on a show, going back and forth, that's going to be drama. You just know it is. Like, what are the chances I have him on the show and it ends up being the most cordial conversation possible? Like, what are the chances of that happening? Probably 0.00001%. Right? Maybe. I mean, that's that's all I could think of, right? I think, here's the thing. I think it makes sense. The idea of the interview makes sense. But here's why some people have reached out to me, okay? There's two major reasons. Reason number one, people are not convinced that Rich is going to show up on the show and be a serious guest, right? They're actually convinced that he's going to come on the show and actually try to pull stunts and shit. Like, for example, we were just watching the video yesterday. He called me the hard R, right? I want to, you know, people are saying, do you think the mic boost got erased? Hold on. People think the mic boost got erased? Nope, it's still there. The +3 decibel, it's there. There was an airplane flying over my house, and it was making a lot of noise, so maybe the microphone muted that, and because of that, it was silencing me, but now it should sound normal again. It was a really loud airplane going over my house right now. That's probably what you heard. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I mean, he literally called me the hard R in his content, and it's like, what the hell? Never in my life, and listen, I grew up in Bridgeport, Connecticut, which a lot of people laugh. Connecticut is this snooty, rich state. No, it's not. There's a very small portion of Connecticut where a lot of rich people live. Everywhere else is kind of ghetto. And I grew up in a kind of ghetto area, all right? I didn't grow up affluent or rich or anything like that. And I lived in like nearly ghetto areas, right? I knew people who were really bad into drugs and gangs and bad things. Not once in my life have I ever been called the hard R, okay? Growing up in a bad area, it never happened. But now, at 42 years old, I'm being called the hard R by a man in his 40s who's also a content creator. And it's just fucking bizarre. Okay? So basically people are like, we don't trust that Review Tech's going to come on your show and act professional. He might come on and try to pull stunts. He might try to do something extreme that's going to get you in trouble on YouTube, or he might not be able to hold his tongue and he says something stupid, and now you get in trouble for it because it's in your content. Okay? That's reason number one. And people don't want him on the show, okay? The other reason is very simple. Basically, people, I hate to say it, are not really wanting Rich to get any kind of attention, popularity, or positivity thrown his way. Basically, they're like, no, you have to understand that in regards to Review Tech, this has been a downfall that's been a long time coming. And he deserved it. And he was insulated from it for a long time because no one really was looking at him. He had 1 million subs, and everyone thinks that a 1 million sub YouTuber is kind of protected. I mean, there's some exceptions there, like Boogie, but for the most part, like, he was insulated from any criticism. This year, all the criticism got thrown towards him, and he's literally just blown over like a deck of cards. It was always a house of sticks that looked like a house of bricks, but now the house of sticks is collapsed, and people don't want this guy to get any kind of a foundation back. Some people have actually said that if I have him in this interview and I don't destroy him, which I could do, I already have, right? Like, I literally already have done this. And people are like, if you have him on this interview and you don't destroy him, and he comes off at least even looking half normal as a person, you're actually boosting this guy and you're helping him, and you shouldn't do that. I've actually been told, and I don't know if this is true or not. I'm sure Rich is going to watch this portion of my show and respond to it. But I've been told that Rich has actually tried to reach out to others and have conversations or appear on shows, and they've said, no, we don't want you. You know, no, absolutely not. That's why he's not streaming that much. That, you know what I mean? Like, all his like, any kind of collaborations or good graces that he had have fallen apart over the last year with all the controversy around him. And people don't want to be associated with this man. So for me to have him on the show actually does him a favor, because it's going to get people talking about him again at a time when literally everyone just wants to forget about this guy and have him move on and be forgotten and erased from the internet. All right? I mean, the Kino Casino guys were saying it themselves. It's just very weird. This guy has over 1 million subs on YouTube, but he's losing 5,000 subs a month at an exponential rate. It's increasing, actually. And he goes on stream, and he's only getting a couple hundred viewers. Right? He's only getting like 200, 300 viewers tops on his streams. So, where did his audience go? They're gone. He has 1 million dead subs who don't care about him or his content. So, why am I going to give him the avenue to basically come on my show and be seen in any kind of a light? Even if it's a negative light, it's still a light. It's a highlight. And he wants the highlight right now. That's why he's reached out to me. I gave him the ultimatum. I said, this is it, your last chance. You don't have to respond, but if you don't, you're not going to be on the show ever again. And then all of a sudden he jumped and said, oh yeah, I want to be on the show, right? Because in reality, he wanted to be on the show all along, and he's realizing this is his last chance to try to get any kind of attention. So, and by the way, this is all speculation. This is what I'm hearing. This is not facts, okay? This is what I'm hearing from people. A ton of people contacted me in 24 hours to tell me this, and I'm like, so I don't know what to do, because everyone was of the impression they wanted him to be on the show. Everyone was like, yeah, have him on as a guest. We want him as a guest. This is great. But now I actually finally got the guy to respond 2 months later, right? And now it's like, after what happened, we already felted the guy in his documentary, and he's definitely fallen off, you know. No, I meant what I said. If he does come on this show and he is high, or he's popping edibles, or there's any indication that this guy is on drugs or anything, he's gone. I'm just going to hang up. I will flush him. You know, I mean, I want to have an appearance that's a real conversation. I don't want this to be, oh, he's going to appear and then he's going to be taking it like all jokes and acting like an asshole. And then again, what if he says or does something that's extreme or whatever, you know?